On News Bike Heaven this week, we'll meet Andy Dutton, who's looking for something fast and sporty to replace his Suzuki 650. We'll also have another featured used bike, some riding tips and information to help us stay on the right side of the law. This is Andy Dutton. He's a student from Manchester and currently rides a Suzuki SV650. But he says he needs something with more performance and better handling to help him keep up with his mates on their super sports bikes. This week he can try out 3 top sports machines.
Hello and welcome to the show, and I have Andy with me. Now Andy, you currently have an SV650.
Yeah.
What's up with it?
Too slow. Basically, I go out with my mates, all blades, R1s, and I can't keep up. Going into bends, they've got the stump going in, coming out, they just leave me for dead.
You're a bit of a speed demon then?
Yeah,
could
sort of, yeah.
Given the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, do you have a budget?
Yeah, maximum of £5,000.
Right, and what's the criteria we're looking at for you today?
It's got to be fast, it's got to be quick in a straight line, and it's got a handle, it's got to go around bends like it's on rails, knee down, stoppies, the lot, bit of a...
So you don't want much out of life,
no,
then,
just
do you
looks
really?
like I can hoon on.
Yes, of course. So you want to keep up with your friends and stuff, but obviously they're a little bit out of budget, aren't they?
Yeah,
the
they've got
R1s and
R1s
and
yeah.
stuff. Okay, well, we've got 3 bikes here for you today, one of which is slightly over budget, but I can tell by the glint in your eye that you'd probably go for it anyway, if need be. We've got the Fireblade,
nice.
We've got the TLR and the ZX7R. What do you think?
Looks-wise, it's got to be the TL1000, big V-twin. It's like my SV really, loads of stomp of it. It looks really nice.
Are you into V-twins?
I wasn't until I got my SV, and then I thought they're great. It's really, really stompy. It'll do anything.
Yeah.
Then the blade's probably better. It's better looking than ZX7. It's just got smaller, looks more agile. Looks like it'll go around bends real quick.
It's a classic bike, really. I mean, it is actually. It has been going for so long, isn't it? Yeah.
And then ZX7 third just looks old, bit slab-sided. 7-year design, isn't it? It's a bit out of date now.
Yeah, but they're still very, very popular, aren't they? I mean, it's still a good bike.
Yeah.
A bit bigger and a bit kind of chunkier than the other two, though, isn't it?
Just a slab styling that does it, really. I just think it looks a bit old compared to these two.
Don't judge until we've heard from Richard, and then we're going to let you go on them. But Richard is going to tell you a few facts and figures before we do.
Okay, yeah.
OK, Andy, if you're looking for a race rep, then look no further than Kawasaki ZX7R Ninja. First introduced in '96, the 7R has 748 cc's of screaming 4-cylinder motor to provide all the performance you should ever need. Big twin air intakes up front help with the racing image and serve to give the bike a very aggressive look. 120 bhp is the claimed output of the motor, so although it's only a 750, it'll sit fairly happily alongside litre class machines. This example from the year 2000 is on a Y registration, it's finished in silver and black and has a data tool alarm system fitted. It's on sale today at £4,600. But being a twin-cylinder man at the moment, we thought you might like to try out Suzuki's TL1000R. This is the machine which Suzuki launched in 1998 to compete with the likes of Ducati and Honda in the big twin market. It uses an 8-valve 90-degree V-twin engine and produces a very healthy 135 brake horsepower. Looks-wise, it certainly owes something to Suzuki's popular GSX-R range, but performance-wise, it has all of the torque and character that you'd expect from a big twin. This model is in the popular blue and white colour scheme. It's a 1999 T-Reg and has a Meta alarm system fitted. It's the cheapest of this week's trio at just £4,300. And finally, if we're talking top sports bikes, then we really must include Honda's Fireblade. This is the machine which, since its launch some 10 years ago, has continued to rewrite the rule books as far as performance and handling are concerned. For many, it makes the perfect package. Good looks and as much street cred as you could ever need. This 2000 model Fireblade is in standard trim, but it does of course have Honda's ignition security system and a smart water security marking system fitted. It's the most expensive bike this week. It will cost you close on £5,500.
So that was Richard there with a few facts and figures. Did you stop drooling long enough to take any notice of what he was saying?
Just about. A few interesting facts about the bikes and things to take notice of when I'm out on them.
Which is?
Just like, go slow and be careful because they're all fast bikes, real quick.
I'm not convinced at all. But we're going to set you off on the Kawasaki.
Okay.
Because obviously looks-wise, you don't seem quite so keen.
Just a slab side. It's an old design, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can't judge a book by its cover.
I'll try it out.
Absolutely.
Can't lose out.
tell us what you think when you get back and be very careful.
Always am, will do.
Thank you. All right, while Andy's out on the Kawasaki, here's Richard with this week's used bike review.
Wow, wouldn't it be great? A fantasy world. Fast bikes, fast women, fast bikes, fast women. It's going to cost a fortune. Must win the lottery. Must win the lottery. Because for comparatively real-world money, you too can buy yourself a piece of genuine Italian two-wheeled motorcycling exotica. For example, a Ducati 748R could be yours for between 6.5 and 7.5 grand. Now that's just boring old CBR 600 money if you were to buy new. Of course, unlike a CBR 600, you really are going to stand out from the crowd on a Ducati 748R. You're going to stand out so much you'll look like you've rolled straight off Brands Hatch and onto the roads. It is gorgeous to look at and listen to. Whether or not you are a fan of Ducati in general or of sports bikes, you've got to admit this thing is delicious to look at. And the best thing is, it gets better the closer you look. That's when you start to realise just what a racing machine this is. The brakes, for instance, yes, they are incredible in terms of working, but just to look at them, they're gorgeous. Even the levers, the pistons, every switch, every button, every bit that you come into contact with on this bike has been designed with one purpose in mind, and that shows through when you look at it. If I had one of these, I don't know whether I'd want to ride it or just stick it in a glass-sided garage and stare at the thing. It really is that gorgeous. Underneath is a frame that comes more or less straight off the racetrack, and that sets the tone for the entire machine. And remember, there's only one top spec version over this one, the SPS, and that really is Looney Tunes money. So what you're getting here is pretty much the best of the best in everything. And remember, better still, if you walk out to the car park to collect your bike and it says this on it, you're already a hero before you've even turned a wheel. Of course, that beauty is much, much more than skin deep. Power is available all the time throughout the rev range. Whatever speed you're doing, however fast the engine is going, simply roll the throttle and it's an utterly flat power delivery. From just about 0 RPM, your arms stretch and the horizon comes closer. The brakes, Brembo of course, are astonishing. It's not a big bike to stop, but boy do they haul it to a halt in a hurry. The mirrors, I have to say, are utterly useless. This is definitely not a bike for filtering through traffic. But then there are other reasons than the mirrors for that. The riding position will put paid to any desire to be a dispatch rider on a 748. Your backside high in the air, your head down over the tank, your knees tucked up. There's no doubt you are on a racetrack machine. Once you've got used to it, you really can press on. The cornering speeds you can achieve are incredible. But somewhere at the back of your mind, you do need a little voice telling you this is going to be amazingly expensive to repair. Bodywork is not going to be cheap. Neither will insurance. Time, I think, for a reality check on a couple of points. Number one, I've said you can get a dream bike for real-world money, and you can. But it ain't going to be a cheap bike. Let's face it, there aren't many of these around, so you will be paying top dollar when you find one. For something like this W plate, which is immaculate with 5,000 miles up, you'll be paying the best part of 8 grand, and it ain't going to be cheap to service or repair either. Reality check number 2, that focused racing riding position. Incredibly uncomfortable, as I've said. Best way to describe it, have you ever seen those machines for getting fit? They give you a six-pack in 5 minutes, apparently, and you can still drink beer and eat chips. It's a wheel with a bar through the middle, and you roll it up and down on the floor. It's a bit like riding one of those at 100 miles an hour plus. Not comfy. It's a shame they don't make a two-seater. You could put your osteopath on the back, and it could sort you out as you went along. Let me put it this way. I've finished talking now, and I can't get off. I'm stuck. I need one of those things you use to get knights off horses. Help! Stuck on bike! Help!
Welcome back, and while you've been away, Andy has thankfully returned in one piece on the ZX7R. Now, you didn't like the looks of this, did you?
Not at all, no.
What do you think to the ride?
I think it's really nice. The front end's great, so solid you can roll it into roundabouts. Even if you hit a bump, it doesn't upset, it just keeps rolling round. It sounds fantastic. Kawasaki induction noise, just brilliant, something else.
Yeah.
Front brakes really nice. Comfort I'm a bit dodgy on. My knees were cramped up really badly, so it made me have to hang off it a bit, try and get my knee down.
Of course,
yeah.
it's an essential.
But generally, really nice bike. Rear suspension's a wee bit hard, but apart from that, lovely bike. Handles really well, quick enough as well.
Now it looks quite a I mean, I think Kawasaki's quite a chunky, big, heavy bike. Does it feel like that?
Not really, no. It feels a bit top heavy at slow speed, but once you pick the speed up, it goes. And
you do slow speed then?
Just about, yeah, if I have to, yeah. But it handles really well. When you pick up past, what, 40, it just rolls around the bends. Not a problem with it. I liked it, really did.
Fantastic, and it's well within your budget as well.
Yeah, it's cheap. I'd definitely consider this.
Yeah, I mean, this is what, 4,500, this one.
And I must admit, the more I look at it, the more the look's growing me, especially the front end. It's got the old Chris Walker ZX7 look.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, but we have got another one, as you know.
Nice.
A Suzuki. Now, you are a bit of a Suzuki man, are you not?
Definitely, yeah, with my SV and everything.
Right.
GSX-Rs as well.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, you like the look of this, don't
I love the looks of it. It just looks mean. It's got something about it. Just looks like a proper sports bike to me. It's a beast.
Oh God, I'm just so worried. Right, well, if you want to get your helmet on and put it through its paces, please bring it back in one piece.
I'll try. Fingers crossed.
Right, great. Oh Lord. Well, while Andy is off putting the Suzuki through its paces, here's our legal eagle Paul, who's hopefully going to give you some facts that will keep you on the right side of the law.
Well, this week we're talking about number plates, what you can and what you can't have. It's very close to some people's heart. That's illegal, Chris. That's legal.
Yep.
Pretty obvious, but there are a lot of rules involving number plates, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a bit mind-boggling actually. It's 10mm margins, and basically you're looking at that is a bang legal number plate. Okay, so it's 64mm down, 44mm across.
That's the letter.
Yeah, and a 10mm stroke round there. If you stick to that, you're not going to go far wrong, really.
Right.
The other thing to remember, it's got to be in two lines, especially with the new number plates in that layout, and it's also got to have the name and the contact number of the person who made the number plate.
Oh, right.
On the bottom.
Right, so that's illegal for a number of reasons. Although we can see those letters quite clearly, big, thick black letters. In fact, they're thicker than them.
That's right, yeah. It seems a little bit bizarre, doesn't it? But
yeah.
Obviously, the letters are too short. Okay, the plate's too small. There's not enough space between the letters and the numbers and the margins around there.
What about the actual script, the type of lettering?
Yeah, it's bang out of order, to use an old phrase.
Is it? Yeah.
It's got to be like that. Now, there are several variations in a theme of this. You can have like a carbon look and a shaded look.
That's okay, is it?
Ones, yeah. But it's got to be that construction.
Right, okay. The bottom line then, if you get pulled with something like that on your bike, what's going to happen? What's the penalty?
Vehicle defect form, potentially, or a fixed penalty.
So a vehicle defect form is, you have to go and get it fixed?
14 days to have it, go to an MOT station.
And then there's no further,
that's
go
right.
any further? Yeah,
that's finished. Or potentially a £30 non-endorsable fixed penalty ticket.
Right, okay. So now you know, don't get caught out.
So that's it for part one. Join us in part two when Andy will hopefully be back with the Suzuki so we can let him out on the Fireblade. And old wise one Paul will be giving you some riding tips. See you after the break. Welcome back to Used Bike Heaven. Now, if you were with us before the break, you'll know we're with Andy, who currently has an SV650, but he wants something with a bit more power and better handling. So we sent him out on the ZX7R. He didn't like the looks, but he liked the ride. Then we sent him out on the Suzuki TLR, and I'm pleased to say he's back. He's in one piece. What did you think to it?
Not a big fan of this one at all.
Oh,
looks
really?
can be deceiving.
Yeah, because you liked the look of this, didn't you?
It's gorgeous looking, but if you get on it, it's completely different to my SV. It's a V trim, but it's dead rough and lumpy.
Right.
And the gearbox is so notchy. It's like, I don't know what it is. Really? It's not nice. And then there's no front brakes. I don't know if it's.
I was going to say, because the front brakes on the Kawasaki
really
were good.
This one, I don't know if it's just the pads or the hoses or what. It's just no front brake. Yeah. I mean, it sounds great. It looks great, but plenty of stomp with it. But I won't buy one. Just not a big fan.
Really?
Not nice.
What about comfort?
It was quite comfortable. Something I didn't notice, which is usually pretty good. If you don't notice it, it's usually quite comfortable, so I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, so nice, I mean, handling, you're into handling, aren't you?
Yeah.
So to speak.
It handled really well.
Yeah.
It needs a bit of a push on the bars to get it to roll over. Once it's rolled, it'll stay there all day. It's like the ZX, dead stable, but it's a bit heavy to push over. Even the ZX is easier to push over than this.
Really?
Yeah.
And yet that seems a bigger bike, isn't it?
It's just a bit heavy to start. And the steering damper, at slow speed, it really slows the steering down. I feel like you're in tree like that, pushing it about, so I wouldn't buy one. Disappointed, really,
right,
after my SV.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, obviously you're not a Suzuki man then, after all.
No.
Well, we're going to take you on to the Honda now. So this Fireblade, have you ever ridden one of these before?
Not really, no. I've had a little tinkle on one just up and down the car park, but I've never had a proper ride on one.
OK, well, this is your third and final test, so make it a good one.
Try my best.
I thought you might. Well, you go and get your kit on, and I'll see you when you get back. So while Andy's having a blast on the Fireblade, it's over to Paul with this week's riding tips.
If you're taking a pillion on your machine for any distance, then there are a few things that will be altered. The bike will feel completely different. The geometry of the bike will change, the handling, the brakes and acceleration, everything will feel different to the way it does when you're riding it solo. So let's just take a few moments to look at some of the things that we should be aware of. Obviously, the first thing that you'll notice when you stick someone on the back is that you've got a big weight high up in the air, particularly if it's on a sports bike where you've got a step seat and the pillion sits a lot higher than you do. Bikes weren't designed to be ridden with big weights high up in the air, so the centre of gravity is completely different to the way it was before. Acceleration won't be as good, so that little gap that you were thinking of nipping into, thought I'll just make it into there, you need to think twice because you've got more weight to carry forward and you might not quite make it. Braking, of course, will not be as effective. You've got more weight, more mass to actually bring to a halt. And try to resist the temptation of stabbing your front brake on when you come to a junction, because if you do that, you will get a clash of heads, and we've all had that in the past, haven't we? Pillion head hits your head, you get a chunk out of your helmet and you finish up with a nasty headache. In fact, try and use your back brake a little bit more because it will be slightly more effective because you've got more weight over the back of the machine with a pillion on the back. But whilst that actually helps the back brake, of course, it's compressing your suspension, so the handling will be completely different, and it might just be worth getting your little owner's handbook out and tweaking your suspension. You might want to stiffen it up a little bit if you're going to do a few miles with somebody on the back. And whilst you're actually in the handbook, it might just be worth checking your tyre pressures because there will be two settings. There'll be one for solo riding and there'll be one for two-up riding. Going round bends and down twisty lanes is where all the fun starts with a pillion, and we've all heard it said so many times, haven't we, when we took someone on the back. Which way do I lean? Where do I look when we're going round the corners? Well, tell your pillion to look the way that you're looking. If you're going round a right-hand bend, you'll be looking across to the right. Tell them to look where you're looking. It will have the effect of bringing their body into line with yours. So you should have rider and pillion going round together in a straight line. They need to lean in the same direction as you. Tell them also that when you come to a stop, don't put your feet down. I've had pillions and when I've come to a stop, they've tried to put the feet on the floor. Tell them not to. Tell them to keep the feet on the pegs and to hold on to you or hold on to the grab rail. And if they've got a problem, give you a bang on the shoulder and let you know. You need to have a relaxed passenger. There's nothing worse than a very tense person on the back of your motorcycle. And take my advice, if you try and impress somebody on the back of your bike, then chances are you'll probably put them off bikes for life. And if they're not happy about holding on to you or holding on to a little grab rail like that, then there are all sorts of devices you can buy. Something like this, it's a pillion pal. Goes round the rider, clicks in there, and there are handles that your pillion can hang on to. But you need to be smoother when you've got a pillion on the back than you are normally. And it can be an awful lot of fun, but I still think it's much more fun on your own.
Welcome back. Now, while you were away, Andy brought the Fireblade back, and I'm pleased to say all three bikes are in one piece, as is Andy. What did you think?
Loved it. Great handling bike. Roundabouts, anything, just flick it over, just goes where you want to put it, doesn't move, doesn't go anywhere, and there's so much power.
I was going to say,
gear,
yeah.
Just roll it on and it goes. It's so light revving, it just picks up for fun. There's brakes and everything on it. I just loved it. It's dead comfortable as well. It's like a do-it-all bike, really. It's not the greatest touring bike, but you could get a France in it without a problem. And you could use it when you got down there as well.
Are you going to stop for breath?
No. No, I loved it.
You liked it, didn't you?
Really did.
Right, OK. I mean, well, we've actually blown your budget here.
Yeah.
Because it's 5.2 and you've only got 5. Does that make a big difference?
Don't know. I'd have to maybe try and haggle a little bit, see if it'd knock a bit off, but I don't know. I might even pay the extra for it if I had to.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm not sure. I like the ZX7 as well, you see.
Oh.
So I'm torn between. I prefer the looks of this, but the ZX7 seems to ride nice as well.
OK, well, I mean, we know what you think now of the Fireblade, but I will cast your mind back to the ZX7. Good points on that.
Front end, fantastic. brakes. Wasn't keen on the looks though, and the rear suspension a little bit hard. Not very comfortable for me either.
Right.
Found that a bit off-putting.
Right, so you're giving us the bad points. Suzuki.
Good points.
Yeah.
It looks all right.
So parked up, you'd be fine and happy with it?
Oh yeah, and sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
Bad points. Where should I start? No front brake. Gearbox was notchy. Just lumpy. Just wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest with you.
Right, okay. Well, is one of these suitable for you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well don't tell me, because before you do, we're going to go to Richard, who's going to give us a recap.
So Andy, will you choose the ZX7R Ninja, the bike which didn't impress you too much with its looks, but had you more than satisfied with its performance? Or will you remain faithful to the V-twin and go for Suzuki's TL1000R? You've certainly fallen for its looks, but did seem a little disappointed with its motor, which you described as rather lumpy. Or maybe it's the Fireblade, the bike which you felt did everything with consummate ease. Smooth power and predictable handling is how you described it. But remember, it is actually outside your budget. Could you be booking an appointment with your bank manager in the next few days?
So come on then, Andy, you've heard Richard. Which one is it going to be?
It's going to have to be the Fireblade. It's a bit common, but hey.
Well,
Nice.
I mean, you've got me a bit stumped there, actually, because I thought you might go for the ZX7R for a minute there.
Just a bit old styling for me. It's just an old bike now, and it's just not as comfortable. I can't get France on it or anything, so it's got to be the Blade.
So you're willing to blow the budget?
Yeah, I'd try and haggle a bit, like I said, but we'll see. I'd pay the extra, I think.
Fantastic. Well, it's not common, it's just popular. All right? Good. Right, well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for some more Used Bike Heaven.
On Used Bike Heaven next week, we'll be meeting Andy Dutton, who's on the hunt for a supermoto to ride during the winter. We'll have some more legal advice and another featured used bike, and more riding tips from Paul.